Greetings, everybody. Listen, General is gonna come real, sharing a real story with you, and one that was very painful. But the reason why I'm sharing this with you is to let you know you can get over anything. You can overcome anything. We're strong. We're all strong women. Women are strong, and we endure so many things in life and we get over it. Only time. I always tell my friends when they're going through problems, especially relationship problems, I always say one day you will laugh about this, and they would always say to me, there's no way I can laugh about this, but I'm telling you, you can. Now I'm sharing this story, and I said I wasn't going to share any more personal stories here, but this one is a teaser. If you want to hear more of these stories, you're going to have to go over to Patreon, and I will share the stories. Listen, I have many stories of struggles and, overcoming all kinds of tribulation, if you want to call it that. Now, I'm going to give you a two for one in this video. I was 23 years old. I was married. I was living in a country away from everybody that I know. No relatives, no family except the one in that household. That included me and someone I was married to. And at 23 years old, I was getting ready to have my first child. I was so excited. I was so happy about, bringing this child into the world. On the day when I was ready to give birth to this child, because I was induced, so I knew that my date was planned for the delivery. And so I woke up very early in the morning. We already pack our bags days before this. And when I woke up, I left my house about 5 o'clock in the morning because of the time when I had to be at the hospital. 5 in the morning. And I took a taxi to go to the hospital to deliver the child. The husband that I was married to slept in that same bed with me. When I woke up to get ready, didn't ask me any question, didn't ask me where I was going, just was there. And so on my way to the hospital, the driver was saying, well, don't you have anyone to go with you? And I said, no. I went to the hospital and I was induced and gave birth to my daughter on August 2nd, 1990 at 1:55 p.m. And after I gave birth to this child as a 23-year-old, I picked up the phone to call a neighbor, not a neighbor, but a lady I used to share a place with. And her 7-year-old daughter answered the phone. And that's who I spoke to about my delivery. I was married. I never saw that husband until the next day. And when he came to the hospital, yeah, the husband, he stayed maybe an hour and he said, I don't like hospitals. I gotta go. Now you'd think that after that experience, someone with self esteem would have said, oh my goodness, now I'm out. But not me. Not especially the fact that I grew up in a church and they said that you could never get a divorce, otherwise, you go to hell. And so at age 28, I am about to have my second child. Now, by this time, this same husband was still with me. And again, don't be confused. It was always an on and off kind of situation. There are times when there's separation, but I couldn't be with another man. How dare you go with another man? You'll go to hell. So, even in the separation, I remained faithful. And so, on a second run, trying to see if this marriage had any legs or any life in it, I conceived my second child. On the day when it was time for me to go and deliver our second child, his duty was to bring our older daughter to the daycare and join me at the hospital where I would be induced. And I went by myself again and got induced and gave birth to that child February 15th, 1995 at 3:55 p.m. Around 7 o'clock that evening, my significant other turned up with our older child. And I said, "What happened? Where were you?" And he says, "I went to school. And when I was at school around 12 o'clock, I'm thinking to myself, hmm, maybe she has the baby now. Hmm, wonder how she's doing." No mother, no sister, no female to support me. Just by myself, people. And my deliveries are always very complicated. And I had a husband. I say all of this to say to you that black women, we go through all kinds of stuff in life. And a lot of us, when people see us, when they see you angry, when they see you so hurt, they're saying you're bitter. The angry black women, they fail to understand that as women, we go through so many things by our men. Go through so many things. A black man really treats the black woman terribly. Now, keep in mind, this man was the one who took my virginity. And for this man, I was faithful for 15 years. And 10 years after I divorced that man, I never went with another man. Do you understand? And when I say never went with another man, never saw another man as a potential husband, very wounded, very hurt. For 6 years after that divorce, I remained a single woman. I never went on one date because I was scarred. And when I started uh, dating, I was so afraid and really wounded. I had to learn to love myself. I had to, you know, develop some self esteem because my self esteem was so eroded because I thought to myself, what is wrong with me? Why would someone be so cruel? But when I look back at it now as an older woman, I see how wounded this person is. So this is not to condemn or judge the black man, but it's to say, until you understand our story as black women, don't you dare criticize us. Don't you dare condemn us. Don't you dare make up stories about us without understanding our struggle. I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor. But do you know what kind of void would be in someone's mind or heart or life to have had such a precious experience twice with a man who was never there emotionally, was not even there except semi physically? If you want more of these stories, you're going to have to go over on Patreon. Um, I will share more of these stories with you, not for you to feel sorry for me, but for you to understand that you're not alone. You are not alone, and you can overcome anything because I have time and time again. Stay blessed, everyone.